about the latest of what's going on in Europe these days with fascia and fascial research?
Well, we had the privilege to have our own fascial research lab now in Ulm University, where we had the opportunity not only to look at histological tissue sections from humans and see how many cells which are contractile are in them, but also to use fresh fascia that they have there from humans as well as from rats, from the lab animals, and to use the really high evolved lab equipment at Ulm University to research if the old claim that fascia is a contractile organ, if that is really true. And we are now at a stage where we can say it is true. And fascia is a contractile organ, we found the cells in it, and that is actually quite exciting, because that's for general medicine that is rather unheard of, that fascia, who is usually considered more to be a packing organ, that actually is alive in a way where it can slowly contract like a smooth muscle is contracting. And so we have been showing that there are enough cells in fascia who can do that. We know the cells now, they are the myofibroblasts that are normally only assumed to be there in wounds when they contract, or in some pathologies like Dupuytren disease, where the whole fascia contracts and they cannot open it. So now we know that these cells are there in everybody to a very different degree. So some of us have many more cells, 1,000 times more in our lumbar fascia than others. And our prediction, and we need to prove that, is that those of us who have frozen lumbars, just like frozen shoulder has a lot of these cells, who are stiff, that they actually have the same cells in there that we know that exist in pathologies like Dupuytren or frozen shoulder. So then that would mean how mobile a person is related to the elasticity of fascia, and something that is alive and that we can stimulate.
How is this new information being received by the medical community so far?
Well, they are very interested so far, and we have only published it so far in 2 or 3 medical papers which are peer-reviewed, and the response is very, very positive so far. So we are now getting support to work on publications that are more high-ranking, where it gets a higher visibility within the whole field. And due to these positive successes in our lab, and also the publications that we already have, into like 4 different medical conferences where we presented it, not only in posters but also in oral presentations. This also contributed to the Fascial Research Congress that you may address another time, where we got some top researchers to say, hey, you know, these results from the European Fascial Research Lab, that motivates us actually to come to this conference and to work together with these people.
So what do you think is the next big thing to do in fascial research? What would you like to do next as a researcher?
Well, I'm looking very much forward for that first International Fascial Research Congress, where we were so lucky to get the most ideal people on this planet to come together for the first time, many of them. Some of them know each other, some of them don't. Some have worked for decades together, others we have drawn from different fields, from acupuncture research, from matrix biology, how the cells work, and bring them together with some of the back pain researchers like Moshe Solomonov, who has been looking at the lumbar fascia and what that is doing in back pain, and that is very exciting. And our European research there on the active ability of fascia to regulate its tone is one, but only one important piece that's coming together there. And so I think that's the next step, and that will open quite a lot of high quality doors for us. That we have better funding access, and also researchers who have abilities where they say, hey, I include that. I have a PhD student, I set him on that project, can he cooperate with me?
Great. And when is the conference?
It's in October 4th to 5th of October 2007 in Harvard a medical school conference center in Boston.
Okay, great. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, fascia is cool. It's really nice stuff. I had the privilege as a Rolfer since 28 years, Rolfing teacher since 12 years or something like that, to devote 3 years of my life where I spent the majority of the week in the lab and working with fascia. And fascia is doing its own thing. It's not doing what I expected it to do. And it's a very fascinating organ. And we structural integrators who are lucky enough to have already claimed our interest on this unexplored organ that feels to me like now a wild west in medical research. It's been overlooked for decades.
Yeah.
And now not only our research, there are many, the acupuncture research from Helen Lorschewer is just another piece. People are realizing, hey, this gray mass in which everything is embedded, that is doing a lot of things. Maybe we need to look at that. So for me it's a privilege to have been in the lab and to work with that organ, to touch it, to look at it under the microscope, and to actually feel like an apprentice in Alice in Wonderland, where actually probably many discoveries are still waiting for other people like me who are brave enough to go into a land that has so far been vaguely or vastly unexplored.
Thank you, Robert.